morning, everybody. Happy Saturday. I hope that you are prepared to enjoy your weekend, whatever it is you're doing. I'm going to be doing what I love. I'm going to be working with people today. Today is Mentor Day for a few young brothers that I'm working with, so I'm excited about that. Um, that's a little later on in the day. I have some things and topics that I'm going to touch on in several videos this morning. So you'll see a lot of me talking about things that I'm passionate about in a number of different veins. This morning, I want to get started with encouragement, empowerment, inspiration, and instruction, all in one video. So get ready to be lifted, get ready to be empowered, but also get ready to be directed and be ready to take action. I am really, truly excited again about being able to live and work in the passion of my gifting and my purpose and the anointing. And for those of you who get confused about anointing, it's simply the empowerment to do the thing you were designed to do. If you are operating in your gifting, you are operating in your anointing. And so we don't want to get all confused with verbiage and cliche-ish stuff that pops out. I come from that background, so I tend to speak in it because a lot of people at least recognize the verbiage. They may not understand it, but I don't want anyone to get confused. Your walk with God is your walk with God. And it's important that you understand that you're going to have to cultivate that relationship. No one can cultivate it for you. No one can solidify it. It's good to be directed into it. It's good to have people surrounding you, but at some point in time, it's going to have to be a one-on-one thing. And there are going to be some times it's just going to be you and God. And you're going to have to be able to do some things in those moments. Well, with that being said, look, I'm excited. I have gotten feedback after feedback, email, some text messages, a number of other things of people who want to see the crushing limiting beliefs course. And I did it some weeks back. We had a great time, gave away a platinum package. Hello, Cheryl. How are you? I hope that you are having an unbelievable start to your weekend. It's always good to see you and your uplifted spirit. And you have meant so much to me. Thank you again for dropping in. So look, everybody is talking about the crushing limiting beliefs thing. Not only did I teach the course that I designed, and this crushing limiting beliefs course is special because I created it about maybe 6.5, 7 years ago. And I decided to sell the license to it to an institution that I can't name because of the non-disclosure agreement. But I sold it to them for a 5-year period. At the end of last year, that period ended. And I decided to take it back instead of renewing the license, which would have been a nice little money thing. But I think people need it, and people who can't afford what it was being sold for, which was several $1,000s, actually $4,000 and something dollars. I didn't think everybody could afford that. And I think a lot of people needed it because the people who I believe need it would never be able to afford it or have access to this institution. So what I decided to do was just take the license, keep it, and reduce the price. The price for the course, if you just get it and do it yourself, is $400 something. But what I decided to do is, hey, I'm the guy who designed it. I'm the guy who put the work in understanding it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to literally teach the course. I'm going to take the course. I'm going to break it down. I'm going to teach it. And I'm going to show people how they can literally challenge their the beliefs that happen. And I'm going to talk to you about why this is important. But we're doing it again. So for a fraction of what it costs to actually get the course and do it yourself, you're going to have me teach it to you. Here's the other thing that we're doing that I did the last time. Last time I gave away 2 platinum packages. I can't keep doing that. But what I am going to do this time is I'm going to give away one $10,500 platinum package. What does that mean? That means that's 1 year of working with me, 52 sessions once a week, every week, working with me to achieve your goals, working with me to address mental blocks, working with me to align and reestablish your self-image. Wherever your self-image goes, you goes. That's what the entire visionetics concept is about, is where is your self-image? How do you see yourself in the world? And these limiting beliefs have a major part in dealing with that. And so I'm going to talk to you about it, but that's there. Also, you can sign up for it. So for $150, you're going to get a package that was once sold at $4,000, but now being sold at $400. And you're going to get the person who wrote and designed that to teach it to you. And you're going to get a chance to win a $10,500 package. And just keeping in the spirit of how I did it the first time, everybody who doesn't win is going to get at least one $350 rapid change breakthrough session to follow up with me on the course. So everybody's walking away with more than what they're paid for right out the box. That's that. Also in that box right now is my Power of Paradigms course. Paradigms are the lens through which you see life. Paradigms are what tell you what you think you can do, what you believe you can do, a bunch of things. It's also connected to your belief system. The Power of Paradigms course is also in there, and it's a self-paced thing. If you're that person that wants to go through the self-paced process, you get that. And if you do that, I'm also adding 2 follow-up sessions after you complete the course to follow up with me, and that is a $700 value. Again, I'm about people getting way more than what they pay for. That's something my grandfather taught me. Always leave people with more than you take away, and you'll never have a problem. Now let's talk about limiting beliefs. Let's talk. One of the reasons that I developed the Visionaries Institute was the understanding of how our self-image governs our behavior in life. In other words, how we see ourselves in the world is going to dictate how we move in the world. And what I found is, in studying people like Dr. Matthew Martz, who is the brain behind psycho-cybernetics, which is something that I've studied and mastered over the years. And psycho-cybernetics is this idea that whatever the self-image declares, or the self-concept declares about you, is going to determine how you move. Now, what does that mean? Whatever I believe about myself in this world dictates how I move in this world. Now, the cybernetic mechanism of it is actually a comparison to cybernetic mechanisms like thermostats, autopilot. What do? You set them, and no matter what happens, they recalibrate and pull back. If you're on a plane and you have autopilot on, what happens is the winds are shifting and everything, and that plane is constantly going off course, but the autopilot mechanism in it is dictating that it's off course and recalibrating it and put it back on course. And no matter how many times it shifts off, as long as that autopilot is on, it's going to recalibrate it, keep pointing you towards the destination until the pilot takes over and manually lands the plane. If you take a thermostat and you set that thermostat on a number, especially if you have a smart thermostat that is capable of turning the AC or the heat on without you having to switch it, what happens is when you set that thermostat, and you can do whatever you want, you can open the doors, that thermostat is going to put on however much AC or however much heat it has to get that temperature to that point, because that's the set thermostat. Your subconscious is the same way. If your subconscious says you're not smart enough, if your subconscious says you're not big enough, if your subconscious says you're not strong enough, if your subconscious says you're not in the right race category, whatever your subconscious says about you is going to consistently dictate your behavior. And one of the things about Visionetics that I created was the understanding of label givers. Label givers are the people early in your life that label you. They may not even realize they're doing it, but they're labeling you. That's why I tell parents, be very careful what you say to your children, because if they accept the label that you're giving them, they will live it. And I'm a prime example of that. I was constantly told that I was exceptional. I was constantly told, my great-grandparent, especially my great-grandmother, she saw a gift in me and she just hammered on it. You are this, you are that. I don't care what they say about you. By the time people started giving me their opinion of me, it was already deeply embedded in me of who I was. So all I knew, I can do this. And then other people saw it in me because I expressed it and I lived it, and they reaffirmed it. But that started as a label. So I call parents and teachers, especially in the early stages, primary label givers. Those are the ones that you're going to give the most gravity to because they have the most authority in your life. And so what happens is they're telling you this. I've had clients come to me and tell me, look, I'm just not that smart. And I'm like, why do you get that? And I'm having a conversation with them, and I can't detect this intellectual inferiority that they're putting out there, but they believe it. And all it matters is that they believe it, because you cannot have a self-image that says something about you and live your life in a different way. The matter of fact, the matter in which you maintain your sanity is directly in correlation, your behavior aligning with your self-image. So your self-image is going to influence your self-esteem. Your self-esteem is also going to influence your self-confidence. And so how you move is always going to be about how you see yourself. Now, the problem is, as you're moving through and you're developing these ideas about who you are, you're also developing what I call limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs are beliefs that put a cap on what you're capable of doing. You're not smart enough to do that. You will never have the resources to do that. Only certain kind of people get to do that. You'll never be rich because you come from here. All of these different things are limiting beliefs that move in your head. You don't have what it takes to be a business owner. Stop going out there. And a lot of this stuff comes again from when we were childhoods and mama told us to get our heads out of the clouds. Baby, that's good, but what you should really be focusing on this. You'll never be able to do that. Then you got the teacher that'll sit up and tell you. I was sitting up and having a meeting about youth that we're going to be working with over the summer, moving into the fall. And one of the people that I was meeting with told me that there was a teacher in the school where they taught that literally told a little boy to get a little 4-year-old boy to get his hands out of his pockets. You're never going to have any money in them anyway. He's 4. And you have already planted in his head lack and poverty beyond the moment. You didn't just talk about his current reality. You talked about his future, and you planted a seed. And the only hope is that someone else comes along behind you and uproots that seed and replants a different one. And that's what crushing limiting beliefs about. It's about uprooting bad seeds that have taken root and literally are governing your life and literally pointing you in a direction that does not bear the fruit that your soul, your inner self is telling you that you should be doing, you should be achieving, you should be having. You're tired of looking at everyone else win in life. You're tired of sitting up and struggling and barely making ends meet. You're tired of sitting up going to a job every day that you literally can't stand. You want to do something in your life exceptional. You want to do something in your life extraordinary. You want to do something in your life phenomenal, but your limiting beliefs are telling you that doesn't apply to you. That's for them. That they can do that because, and you've made up these excuses based on these beliefs of why you can't do it. And you are reinforcing the negative and limiting belief based off of old paradigms. It's time to make a paradigm shift. It's time to take a new look at what is possible. And the thing is, there's a gift no matter who you are. I tell people this all the time. And if you followed me, you've heard me say this before. I've worked with many types of people. I've worked with all races, literally, that I can think. I'm pretty sure there are some variances, but I mean, as far as Asians, Latinos, whites, blacks, even Arabs. I've worked with them in some capacity. I've dealt with them in some capacity. I've had kids with autism, kids with Down syndrome, kids with other learning disabilities, kids with ADHD, kids with oppositional defiant disorder. I've worked with people with depression. I've worked with people with bipolar depression. I've worked with all different types of people. And what I can tell you is I have yet in my 30 plus years of professional engagement, met an individual who didn't have a gift. I have met people who had buried their gifts. I have met people who had never become acquainted with their gifts. I have met people who have compromised their gifts. And I've watched them sprout up and take off and do exceptional and extraordinary things. That person that told me that they weren't just that smart is like just killing it right now because they found out that that wasn't the truth, that there was something inside of them remarkable, that there was something inside of them exceptional, that there was something inside of them phenomenal and totally explosive that they had been literally suppressing because they were adhering to an outdated, unfounded idea about themselves. And what I want people to see is that it's not that someone else is more special. People are often, when talking with me, even the kids like that I mentor, and I'm calling them kids. These are young adult males, under 30. And they'll say, well, yeah, you can say that. You've done XYZ. You've done this. You've authored 20 something books. You got this many companies over this time. You've done this, and you've been here. And I'm like, you do realize that when I started, I had done none of that. You do realize that when I started in a place that a lot of people who sit up and believe that they can't do something started. I started with a teenage mom who could never be maternal, and I was reared by her grandparents. I started without having a relationship with my father that I wanted so badly. And then when he died at the age of 14, he took that dream into the ground with him. I never got to pursue it. I started with nothing but death, violence, and drug use and poverty around me. I didn't start with what I have. I fought for what I have because somebody planted a seed in me that said it was possible. That's what I want to do. I want to uproot the seed that's limiting you. And I want to plant a seed that says it's possible. I want to listen to you tell me why you can't, so I can tell you why you can. I want to hear you talk about your situation so I can show you it's not what you think it is. Nobody out there doing the exceptional is better than you. They're just doing things different than you. They have a different set of beliefs about themselves. I want to show you that you are just as extraordinary as they are, that you can have as a magnificent and explosive impact on the world as they're having, that you can build and develop financial security just like they have, that you can develop and secure a place in this world that will speak of you after you're gone. You are phenomenal. You are exceptional. You are extraordinary. But you've got to see it. You got to drop the limiting beliefs. You got to let it go. You got to make up in your mind that you are going to start to walk in your gifting. You have it. It's there. We'll find it. But you got to walk in it. You got to start talking. That's another thing. You tend to reinforce the limiting beliefs with your self-talk. Let me explain something to you. You have something that's absolutely phenomenal. Even in children with ADHD, even in children with on the autism spectrum, even in children with Down syndrome, that brain is phenomenal. You just got to learn how it works for them, because they could do some extraordinary thing. I have a client now with Asperger's. When he came to me, he had the ability to focus real intensely on one thing, but he would be scattered with other things, and he was socially awkward and a bunch of other things. This guy is running an international organization now. Literally, he hits me up and goes, guess what I'm doing now? And I'm like, what, man? Just tell me. And he's blowing my mind with what he's doing because he unleashed himself. I'm telling you, I don't care where you started. I'm telling you, I don't care what you've been through. I'm telling you that the trauma was hard, it hurt, and it roughed you up and it left you. I'm telling you, you can heal the trauma. I'm telling you that no matter what they said about you in school, I'm telling you that there's something explosive inside of you that the world needs you to unleash. The world needs you to be your best you. Stop cowering behind the limited beliefs. Stop cowering behind old ideas about what's possible. Start standing up and moving out in something different. I'm telling you, if you get back, man, stop that self-talk. I remember right after I lost my great-grandfather, who was my adopted father. So for all intents and purposes and everything that matters to me, this man is my dad. He was my grandmother's father. And I remember when I lost him, 25 years old. Thank God that I had him and my great grandmother, because they had me prepared. I wasn't your average 25-year-old, but here I am now. For all intents and purposes, I am now taking on the role of patriarch in my family. My grandmother is now looking at me to lead. And here I am mourning the man that I think is the most powerful man I've ever met, because he fought from nothing. He had a second grade education. He was the son of a sharecropper. He had to get out in the fields at 7 years old. He had to drop out of second grade and go out in the fields at 7 years old to help his father make ends meet. And he stood up, but he had a work ethic and he had wisdom, and he taught me lessons that I have yet to even think about forgetting. And he gave me a foundation, and there he was gone. And now I'm being asked to step in and fill those shoes, because my siblings need me, because my grandmother needed me, even my mom needed me. And here I was. And I was so out of it for a couple of years, just out of it. I was in a fog. And what I didn't realize is, in my pain, I had lost my optimism, and I had started to think negative. Now, somebody who was experiencing a lot of success, especially for 25 years old, was all of a sudden experiencing difficulty at a level that I hadn't experienced it. And I could not get it. I was frustrated. I'm fighting hard, and everybody's dependent on me. They can't see me stumble right now. They can't see me falter right now. I had this idea that I had to be perfect, something I've overcome a long time ago. But at this time, I'm trying to figure it out. But I call my mentor, the one man I could think of that I had enough trust in to talk to, because I didn't want to seem weak, because we keep telling Black men that you can't ask for help. We keep telling Black men that you can't cry. We keep telling Black men that you got to be able to walk in what we're doing. We're just suppressing it. We're just suppressing it. And there I was. And so I called him. And within 20 minutes, the problem was fixed. He says, excuse me, I get emotional about it because this is how powerful it is. He said, I already know what it is. And he said it like it was no big deal. Oh, that's it. You know, and I'm like, well, what is it? Because I'm thinking my world is crashing down, that some kind of way my success was tied to my grandfather's advice and he wasn't here to give it anymore. And all of a sudden now I'm just making bad moves. And so I don't get it. He said, man, we've been on the phone 15, 20 minutes tops. And you said I can't win for losing 4 times. What else are you saying about your situation? And then I had to sit down and I had to realize your brain is a supercomputer. It is a literal organic computer that is more powerful than any computer on this planet. It can process more than 4 billion bits of information per second. But it's only as good as what you upload. And guess what? Your self-talk is the program and the software you're uploading into your brain. Your brain will execute what your self-talk says about you. Your self-talk has the ability to override current programming. That's why affirmations work so well. You can literally say things you don't even believe. If you say it enough, the brain starts to say, well, hey, you keep saying it. And the brain will literally start to rewire new neurosynaptic connections based on the new information that's being fed by way of your self-talk. Be careful what you're saying about yourself. Be careful of how you're looking and speaking about yourself. And be careful what you speak into the life of other people. What I want to do is I want to sit down with anybody who wants to change. So you come to this this course, you're going to get, I guarantee you, fire. This isn't just going to be some emotionally charged, inspirational, motivational speech. This is going to be step-by-step dynamic movements that help you change the way you see yourself, your self-image, your self-concept, the way you view the world, your paradigms. You're going to have a paradigm shift. I want you to come and see how this is done. I want to teach you in a short period of time how much you can get done just that quickly by changing your self-talk, by constantly journaling, by making sure you monitor it. What does it say for my Christian people? Let me tell you something. And for my people that understand even the smallest level of psychology, y'all roll with me for a minute. We go to 2 Corinthians, we go to chapter 10, we start at verse 3. What does it say? It says that though we walk in the flesh, we are physical in presentation in the 3rd dimensional realm. Though we walk in the flesh, we do not war. We do not wage our movements and our efforts and our desires to rise based on fleshly ideas or carnal thinking. For the weapons of our warfare, the wars that we're raging, that's a war for your mind. You don't know it because we don't teach it and we don't walk it, we don't live it. So everybody is becoming victims to auto suggestion, subliminal suggestion, brainwashing, and so much more. Propaganda. But hey, check it out. Here it is. It says, though we walk in the flesh, we do not war according to the flesh. It says, for the weapons of our warfare, the weapons of our warfare are mighty in God for the pulling down of strongholds that say, I come from poverty, I'll always be broke. Strongholds that says, I'm not smart enough. Strongholds that says, I'm not big enough. Strongholds that says, I don't have the right background. Strongholds that says, I can't gain the right access. Strongholds that says, you will never be anything but. Let me tell you, casting down strongholds. Then it tells you what the weapon is. It says casting down arguments, ideas, thoughts, suggestions, and everything that exalts itself against the knowledge of God. The knowledge of God comes into who you are, what God planted in you, what God designed you for, what you were literally meant to be. You are exceptional. You are phenomenal. You are extraordinary. But the world has told you you don't matter. The world has told you that you don't fit in. The world has told you that you will never have this. The world has told you that you were born poor, you'll die poor. You have taken poverty as your lack in life. You have taken as your lot in life. You have taken suffering as your lot in life. You have taken misery as your lot in life. Everything that happens to you, think that this is what's supposed to happen. So you've adopted a negative mindset. Your talk is negative. Your thinking is negative, and your energy is attracting negative. And you don't realize that you are reversing the universe that God created to respond to faith is responding to your negative faith about yourself. You work with me now because I'm not done. Then what does it say? It says bringing what? Every thought. Bringing what? Every thought. Bringing what? Every thought into captivity. Bringing every thought into captivity until your thinking is in obedience and alignment with what you say about yourself, with what God says about you, with what God has established for you to do. Bring every thought into captivity. Time to unleash the negative thinking. See, there's a dynamic method and mode of how you overcome. Say the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. They're not. We are waging war in the physical sense, and we're wondering why we're losing because the power is in our mind. For my people of the Christian faith, everybody else ride with me because it still applies to you. Check this out, though. If you study the Bible, you're going to find a theme. The first theme in the Bible is the greatest and most repetitive theme in the Bible is to know the Bible, know the word, know the word. Psalms 100, the biggest part, the biggest chapter and the biggest book in the Bible is all about knowing the knowledge of God, the knowledge of the word. The most repetitive command is know the word. The second most repetitive command is guard your heart and mind. Guard your subconscious and guard your conscious mind. That is the second most repetitive. Why? Because even in that time, there was an understanding of the power of the mind. The mind is the thing that controls the destiny. You are where you are because you have not seized control of your mind. I'm telling you, you can go beyond anything that you have ever imagined. Many of the things you are experiencing right now, the fact that you're sitting here watching me, no matter where you are in the world right now, is because somebody went beyond what people said was possible. Everything was impossible until somebody did it. What will you do in your life that people now think to be impossible? That's the question. I'm challenging you. Stand up, come out, be a part of this. This course is going to be on next Saturday, the 2nd, at noon. And I want you to be there. This is an unbelievable opportunity, power-packed, value-packed, and I'm going to be giving away a platinum package worth $10,500. That's my flagship package. While some people normally come in at the bronze package, I very rarely do silver and gold packages. People normally either come in at the bronze or they say, man, I'm going all the way. I want the platinum. But even the ones that come in at the bronze end up at the platinum. They get there, they get to that 12-week point, and they go, man, I got to keep going. And they sit up and they find a way to make it happen. You know, I've had a few goals, but most of them in that range. But I'm telling you, that 52 weeks, you will be surprised at what you can do in a year. That will completely blow your mind. And I'm going to give somebody an opportunity to do that. I'm going to literally gift you that package at this course. Anybody who enters, whether you're able to actually make it. And the other thing is, I'm going to record it. So if you can't make it that day, I want you to be there because you get to ask questions that are specific to your situation in your life, and you get to get an answer right away. But if you can't be there, your name still goes in the bag to win that. And I'm going to gift everybody who doesn't win 2 free sessions with me to follow up. So on that note, I am out of here. I hope that I have given you something to think about. I hope that I will see you on next Saturday. But whatever you do, it's time to take your life to the next level. My thing is next level living. I've been talking about it for as long as I can remember. And it's my mantra. It is my philosophy. And what is next level living? Next level is I'm always climbing. I'm always looking to improve. I never think I've made it. I never think I know it all. I never think I'm better than anyone else, but I'm always striving to get to that next level. And when I get to that next level, I dance, I celebrate, and I hold my hand up in victory. Then I look up and see the next level. Next level. I'm moving to the next level. I will stop moving when I stop breathing. And that's the thing I want to challenge people to do, is keep pushing until you take your last breath. The world needs you to shine. On that note, look, as I always say, I'm going to live my life on full. So then when I leave this place, I don't eat. I'm challenging you to do the exact same thing. On that note, I'm out of here. You guys have an unbelievable day.